You are not oppressed, but actually self-suppressed. And I'll give you a story because there was a point in time where, to a degree, I would actually admit and say that, well, maybe I was oppressed in some sort, in some capacity, right? Um, because I'm still fairly young right now, but growing up when I was, younger, pre-teens as a kid, and then in my teens, I felt as though I didn't really have any resources to truly get invested into doing the things I wanted to do, which was content creation, because that's all I saw coming up as a child, like watching YouTube on my phone and on the TV, and just seeing, scrolling through social media and seeing and at the time I had an Android phone. Like I had this little Samsung. I forgot the name of the model. I don't know if it's one of the J models, but it's a super old, like small brick phone, right? Um, and I wasn't doing any extraterrestrial activities, like nothing illegal or whatever. But um, nah, just being a kid, like um, it was still a smartphone, but kind of like a brick phone for a smartphone. You know what I'm saying? Like touch screen, but slow, lethargic, and it didn't really function a lot of the time. But anyway, I use it to the best of my ability. But the point is that, scrolling on social media, I would be exposed to, like at a young age, seeing like wealth and fame and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, it gets into your mind. You see this for your whole life. As a kid, you're like, I want to have that one day. Maybe in my from my 20s, I can work on, getting to that place and to that point. And I feel like I'm at that, like, not that I'm at that point right now, you know, uh, but I'm certainly starting the journey right now, right? And I've been on this journey for a couple of months. I've had to do a lot of self-reflection and inner work and stuff like that over the past year. But for the past few months, I've really been consistent on providing content and posting for business, and just really trying to exploit the internet and all of the avenues relevant to me to increase my streams of income and the earning potential as well. So, like as a kid, being inspired by Hollywood and all of this stuff, right? And I'm not so much inspired by Hollywood anymore. I mean, there's other ways to earn money without being in the Hollywood or in the club, as they like to say, because I think there's a lot of kind of like wicked activity that goes on within these places and societies and things like that I want no part of personally, because I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. I believe in God. So it's like that's the way I live my life. But I'm not saying that you can't go down that route or anyone else. I still listen to secular music and stuff like that, but it's kind of like I'm not perfect, but it's like, just a different path of life that I'm taking um compared to what some other people might idolize and what they might admire. I got a whole different mindset. I got more of a billionaire behind the scenes type of mindset, rather than a millionaire in front of everyone's face for the world. Rather than I got more of a billionaire behind the scenes rather than a millionaire that's always being seen. You know what I'm saying? It's completely different. So I had to shift my mindset, my interests a little bit. But um, I think also like I mean I got to look back at my note because I said the self suppression part, right? Yeah. And growing up younger, I'm like under my parents' household. I'm a kid, seeing all this stuff on social media again, but I don't really have access to it. It's like you can look, but you can't touch. So I'm window shopping on social media, as I'm pretty sure most of us have done before, and still do from time to time. And so I'm getting inspiration, but I got nowhere to put this inspiration into because of my circumstances. Because I come from a low income housing. You know what I'm saying? Um, um, and my parents earn just enough to get by, so it's really just focused on survival, surviving rather than striving. That's the environment I come from. And I realized that, like, at some point I'm gonna have to try and make a way out of that so that I can really start to do the things I actually want to do that's going to matter in this world, and really work on my God-given talents, because I know I have some, but at the time I felt useless. But I'm like, I can't just be here just to feel this uselessness for forever, right? At some point I've got to blossom into my own person, into a grown man, and find out what it is I'm good at and stick to that. And no matter what it looks like from the outside to other people, like, oh yeah, no, you're doing this, but I think that you should do it this way. Like, no, you can do it that way if you want to. I'm going to do it this way because this is the way that I feel most comfortable doing it, and it's not compromising anything. There's no internal conflict for me to get on the camera here and explain these stories to you. It's just natural. But yeah, my parents not really knowing me and what I have an interest in, and being able to support me off of the back of that, but rather being more interested in themselves, to the point where they put their own idolizations and dreams and goals onto me, which was stay in school, go through all the levels of formal education, get a career field, and try and get promoted within that career field as well. And that just wasn't my, seeing business and being exposed to social media from a young age, that just wasn't the path that I was going to stay in for forever. So, but I did fulfill that for a certain period of time because I had to. Most of that time I was a minor. What else was I going to do? Run away from home, become an orphan? It's not really feasible. I would only be setting my life back further potentially, and I wasn't really built for that. So I was like, no, I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna be somewhat comfortable, and I'm gonna just do what my parents instruct me to do, and see how that pans out, right? And I kind of saw over time. I got my job. I went from school to college to university, and being exposed to these environments, then further along down the line of things, I kind of saw where this was going, and I was like, well, I could earn quite a bit of money in the future, but in the future there's going to be more inflation anyway, and I'm gonna have a lot of time taken away from me. How am I gonna, this money, is it really gonna support me, a wife, and then family? And if I have kids, and a multitude of kids at that, I don't know. I don't really see how all this works out in the end, to be honest, and it's like, it looks like it's going to be a struggle for the rest of my life. And that was something that I didn't really like the idea of. So I had to pivot. I'm like, okay, I kind of like left my job. I also, left university, and I didn't complete things all the way through, because I realized, well, that's not what I want to do. And so I have to get out now before things kind of get, too far. And then I get trapped in a cycle of like, okay, I'm at work, I'm making money, you know what I'm saying? I'm paying bills, and then the same thing over and over again. I refused it. So I kind of quit all of that. I started my own thing, went on a bit of a path of like self-discovery. And it's like, now I'm at this point where I'm like, okay, I know what I want to do. I know I want to do YouTube. I know I want to start a business. I know I want to, really go hard on the content creation in all aspects, different types of content. Like, I want to make musical content. I want to make motivational content. I want to make exploration content. I want to make like, I don't know, I want to make fitness content, not fitness, fashion, I meant to say, right? I wanted to make fashion type of content too. And these are projects that I got in the works for the future. And so some of these projects, they're a little bit more costly, which is why I can't implement them now. But as I say, they're for the future. And some of the projects that I named and I listed that are what I'm incorporating right now, because it's a bit lower cost. But yeah, I just basically knew I had to like stick or twist. And I just decided to twist because I didn't like the direction my life was going in. And in twisting, I don't regret it. It's the best decision I ever made. I love the direction, the potential direction of where my life is going in. Not only that, I just feel more like myself. I feel more like, okay, I'm fulfilling the purpose that God put me here for. And that's really all I care about, truth be told, because when we're all turned to dust, that's all that's going to matter. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, so I just realized, like, okay, I'm holding myself back if I stay in a place where I don't want to be. Like, if I stay working a job I don't want to work, and it, career with not a lot of prospect, or I stay in the university. I don't understand what I'm learning, but I have to try and learn it anyway. No, that's not what I'm going to subject myself to for the foreseeable future. I refuse that. And so I had to just say, look, man, I gotta ease up. I gotta ease off, and I gotta find myself. I gotta do some soul searching. And yeah, I feel like I found my soul for the very first time in a long time, like since being a little kid. And it's like I'm holding on to that, and it's bringing me a lot of childlike joy too. So it's been a journey. And I'm just ready to take on the world and to keep going and build an empire.